live direct from the A&R studios. It's the Empire of Nerd podcast. Here's your host, the PokéTrooper.
Yes, and thank you again, lovely assistant, for that wonderful, magnificent, most awesome intro, because I forgot to say it last time. But welcome back to Empire of Nerd podcast. I am your host, the PokéTrooper. With me again, as always, my awesome co-host, Dr. Snake.
What's up, peeps?
How's it going, Dr. Snake? What's new, man?
Let's see. I actually stayed home from work on Friday, Saturday, so 2 free days for me, amazingly.
Nice.
I finally beat Catherine full body. What a crazy story. I never beat the first one for the PS3, so I finally get that. Tried playing God of War, but I'm fucking stuck, man. I'm like fighting one of those Valkyries. She's like a yellow one, and dude, it is hard as tits. That shit is no good, man.
And you've got it on easy, too.
Fuck you, man. But anyways, yeah, I was trying to do that. Yeah, just trying to keep up on my gaming because I don't really have time sometimes. So I pretty much just deep dive on my shit.
Nice.
How about you, man?
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, not much, man. You know, just BSing here at home. You know, had some band practice. I introduced Attack on Titan to a lovely assistant last week.
What is her thoughts?
She liked it. She's into it. I know. I kind of thought she would because I know it's the same director as a Death Note, and she loves that one. So. So I figured, let's check this out. And at first she was kind of like, I don't know, this and that. But, she came around by the second episode. So.
Yeah, she just did like a thumbs up. So I'm sure she approves.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but other than that, not much. I did see the new Pokemon Mewtwo movie.
Ooh, how was that?
I mean, it's really good. We'll get into it, but let me...
All right.
Let's get some of this news out of the way.
Fine.
Because today's episode is going to be... kind of deep diving into the world of Nintendo. So I want to try to keep this one short because I know last week's episode was kind of a slog. So let's get started with the news. First of all, Jurassic World 3 finally got a title.
What's the name?
It's going to be called Jurassic World Dominion.
Jesus.
So it's going to be pretty cool. Obviously, from the sound of the title, Dominion is like when you talk about the home or the territory of a creature or person. So. Possibly we're going to be going back to the island once again, but now dealing with, having the dinosaurs, ruling the land. Actually, no. The dinosaurs were free on the Earth last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting mixed up then.
Yeah, because they got into those auction. Remember, like, they took them to, like, that nice fancy house.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That little girl fucked up. I would have gassed those dinosaurs. I'm sorry. That's horrible.
She's like, let's set them free. Bam, button, and then all fucking raptors.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't Land Before Time. They're gonna do some serious damage.
No, there's no Littlefoot on that one, man.
No. But yeah,
or Petrie.
No, yeah, like I'm saying. So obviously, judging by the title, it's gonna be dealing with the dinosaurs probably not living amongst the people. And probably like human beings trying to survive now with the dinosaurs roaming free.
That's why I love about the Lost World. They like towards the end when like the T-Rex goes into like the ship and then gets released out of the ship
and
then just fucking gets to downtown literally.
Oh yeah, so
cool.
That's gonna be something cool to look forward to.
Yeah.
Also, American Horror Story season 10. They announced it's going to be starring Macaulay Culkin.
Dude, he's creepy as fuck. So
yeah, so probably no makeup needed.
No makeup, just his face, his cockhead face.
But yeah, so he hasn't really done much. Maybe that commercial, like what was it last year, something like that, where he went back for the Home Alone house and all that.
Oh, that's right.
But so he's going to be in it. They've announced a lot of the regulars are coming back, and so yeah, so that I mean, I love American Horror Story. I need to catch up on season 3, which was I think it was called 1984. So it looks like very much inspired by like slasher movies of like, Friday the 13th and Halloween and all that. So that one's really good. I need to catch up on that. So no details yet on season 10. But I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something worth looking forward to.
American Horror Story, Home Alone 4.
Oh my god, freaking
the horror of the house.
Danny DeVito comes back like a zombie. Not Danny DeVito, what's his name? Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci. they almost look alike.
Almost. They're both short and crazy.
Yeah.
But also, dude, Uncharted, since we were talking about PlayStation last week.
Oh yeah.
The Uncharted movies finally got a director. And, you know, that movie's been in development hell for what, like 5, 6, 7 years now? They finally just announced the director. It's going to be Robert Fleischer, who actually directed Venom and Zombieland.
Oh wow.
So, you know, that he's got a cool view on things, and I'm pretty sure, like, easily he can go and take over a movie game franchise. You know, I'm sure he's shown his chops with Venom alone, you know, taking this Marvel you know, title and turning it into the movie that it was.
Yeah.
Which honestly was actually really good despite all the ratings it got. You know, despite coming up against I think what was it, Shallow with Lady Gaga at the same time.
Oh, that's right.
So it was actually a really, really good movie, really underrated.
Yeah, I actually haven't even seen it yet. Actually.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, so I'm one of them too that actually heard the reviews before I saw it, and I'm like, well, I could wait on DVD. It's been on DVD.
It's actually really good. I really recommend it. It's really good, really fun.
I'll check it out.
So besides that, they've also announced Tom Holland is going to be in it. He's going to play a young Nathan Drake. It's also going to star Antonio Banderas.
Ooh, actually, I didn't know about that.
Sophia Ali or Ali, I'm not sure, and then Tati Gabriel. So you know,
Tati Gabriel.
Oh geez, I'm drawing a blank. But I mean, either way, they're all really good actors. Cool. I'll put it at that.
Cool.
And so you know, it's gonna be really great. You know, moving on to the news, we also got news. I don't know if you heard about this, but AT&T and Warner might be not so much selling the rights, but like loaning the rights to DC to their comics.
Wow.
So I guess you know they were supposed to jumpstart this new line called something along the lines of like the 5th generation. I think it's called like 5G, DC 5G.
Oh wow. Like the cell phone?
Kind of, I guess. So yeah, so 5G 5th generation.
Oh, okay.
And so they were going to make like contemporary takes on like the classic superheroes.
Okay.
And so I guess AT&T who owns WB, I guess they didn't really like see eye to eye with what was his name? Dan Didio. I guess he was the guy who's in charge of DC. And so more or less they kind of gave him the boot. And now they're looking to like outsource their comics to possibly giving it to Marvel.
Wow.
So they're obviously not going to outright sell the rights to the comics, because I mean that's giving away money pretty much. So they're looking to find someone who can go and take their comics and produce something better.
Okay.
So as far as like movies and stuff go, they haven't really said anything. But as the comics are concerned, they might be handing over to Marvel to take over.
Nice.
So,
wow.
You know, it's crazy. We have had Marvel and DC crossovers before, so we know the two companies can work together.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really that big of a rivalry between them. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what some of the Marvel writers can do with DC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I think there was a comic that my friend introduced me to. It was like the what was it, the graphic novel of like X-Men versus the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it's some pretty cool little scenes in there that I'm like, wow, they actually, I think when Captain America said like no more mutants or something like that, I forgot who he's talking to, but I just kind of saw like the little script of that, and just by seeing that, I mean it's a pretty cool little plot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean again that's just like, you know, one Marvel franchise with another.
Yeah.
If we take, 'cause I know there has been one where I believe it was Iron Man and Superman. Like in the same comic. And then I mean there was that whole, I don't remember if it was a one shot or if it was an actual series, but it was Wolverine and Batman combined in one. I can't remember what his name was. It was like Nightclaw or something like that.
Oh yeah. I think that was like the animated series type of cartoon.
Yeah, it was a one shot. It was really cool.
Yeah, Nightclaw. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, so I mean I can see, you know, Marvel doing pretty good work with DC's IPs and being able to like give it the respect it afford, you know, not make them like cheesy characters.
Yeah.
But but also in big news, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is stepping down like ASAP.
There's a lot of people just stepping down.
It's weird, dude. Like I guess this is time of like, you know, changing of the guard. They're gonna start handing it over to other people.
Yeah.
And so I believe the new guy's name is Bob Kapsek.
Okay.
I believe, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, he was like the head of like the rides and stuff like that, like ride development and guest experience at the parks. So Bob Iger's stepping down. This new guy's gonna step up, and he's gonna take over CEO. And so Bob Iger's just kind of taking like this executive chairman position until his contract's up next year or this year. I think in a couple months. But yeah. So what this can mean a whole lot. I mean, it could be like new things for Disney. For the rides, for the parks, movies, TV shows, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Whole new thing, because it's gonna be a whole new fresh look on the franchise as a whole.
Man, hopefully it's good. It's good.
And Bob Iger, he did his thing. I feel like he in a sense saved Star Wars at the end. He kind of took it from what The Last Jedi was, and then flipped it around, I guess, a bit for the last one that came out. And he's taking control over a lot of stuff during his tenure there. But and he's led the parks, through a lot of like evolution and change. So hey, you know what? Like, thanks, Bob Iger. Let's see what this new guy can do.
Yeah, cheers to you, bro.
And in sad news, we did lose a legendary programmer, and his name was Kazuhisa Hashimoto.
Word.
And he was probably, without knowing it, he was probably one of the most influential people in video games.
Okay. Because
he gave us probably one of the most famous codes in video game history. Do you know what that is?
I would say Contra.
Yeah, actually does. It does work in Contra. It's actually the Konami code. And this is probably like the most well-known code input in all of video games.
Yeah.
And, it's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start.
Yeah.
And that thing unlocked all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So, unfortunately, he passed away this last week. He was
even
61.
The girl's temple that it unlocked. Anyways, going
Sorry,
back.
girls, but yeah. But anyways, yes, we
61.
lost Mr. Hashimoto. So
man, there was one actually. Didn't read the full. I didn't read like the full article, but did you hear that the guy from the voice actor in Mexico that played Gohan, they killed him?
I actually just heard that too.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know. But yeah, man. I could imagine like people from Mexico and this like just like being corrupted or whatnot. I would think, because the way how article said like like the voice actor got killed. Yeah. So I'm like, man, like how can like a voice
Crazy,
actor
dude.
like that? Yeah. So
Crazy.
So I don't know. But if you guys are like or want to read the article, I actually saw it on IGN. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's it's a big hit there, because anime's huge in Mexico, dude.
Oh yeah.
You always hear about how here in the States they'll take things and change them to like localize them, and then like censor some of the violence and all that. Where if honestly in the West, the only place to get like a real true straight translation of anime is like in Mexico. Because they didn't care. They just kind of like translated it, no censorship, nothing, boom. Just the same way it was shown in Japan, it was shown in Mexico. So so Mexico actually has a really, really huge anime scene. So
especially Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that was another hit there. And I don't know if you also heard, we also lost James Lipton, famous interviewer from the Inside the Actor Studio.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so 91 years old. He just passed away. So in honor of Mr. Lipton, we're gonna do a quick one question interview, and it was probably my favorite question he always asked everybody that went on there. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm legitimately asking you, what is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it's super versatile.
It is just one of those, just like you just gotta decompress. You're angry, you're upset. You always say fuck or fuck or fuck. See, there's always different types of fucks you could say. How about yours?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have to go for the big one, and it doesn't matter what like context you use. There is like no good context to use this word.
Okay.
And if you ever want to just piss someone off,
go ahead.
So I'll say now, I'm sorry to anybody who gets offended, but cunt. Straight out, dude. You throw that word, you can be like, you don't even have to be arguing.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, hey, honey, how's your day? What do you want to go? What do you want to go eat for dinner? Cunt. Ah, well, fuck. There goes the whole day.
No, Yeah, actually, yeah, I see people going 0 to 60 on that word.
So so that's kind of my favorite, just because it gets the biggest rise out of people, and I reserve that for literally like 2 people in the whole world. I'm not gonna name them, but yeah. So that's the news. RIP to those who we lost, and hey, looking forward to some of the stuff coming out. Mm-hmm. And with that, let's go into our next segment. So here's Give It a Shot. Now, my Give It a Shot for this week actually just came out on Netflix February 27th now, so a couple days ago. It's actually, if you think about it, it's a remake of an older movie now. It's called Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution.
Woohoo, baby.
Yeah, so it's literally a shot-for-shot remake of the original Mewtwo Strike Back that came out in like 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, it's got all new visuals, looks fantastic. The art style kind of goes more towards the cutesy side.
Okay.
But dude, when they do like the close-ups of the characters or the Pokemon, like you can see the detail in the fabric of their shirts, Ash's hat, their hair, their fur. Like you can see individual strands of hair and fur on the models.
Damn.
And it looks really, really great. One downside I will say though, they kind of ruined the big mystery in the beginning by kind of giving away the surprise of
okay.
So spoiler alert for people who haven't seen this movie like 20 years ago. They're invited to the island for like a super ultimate Pokemon battle contest, and they're like, oh, the world's greatest trainer, and they're waiting for him, and out comes Mewtwo at the end. Wow. So it's revealed that Mewtwo is the world's greatest Pokemon trainer and talks a lot of shit to everybody, blah 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 blah. But like they kind of give away the mystery right at the beginning. Like, and I'm not talking about like the whole little like intro where they kind of give like the background of Mewtwo, but I don't know if you remember the scene where it's Nurse Joy who's been brainwashed and she's talking. She comes up to this chair and it looks like what was it? Inspector Gadget. Remember the claw?
Oh yeah.
That was just a big black chair in just his hand.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much the same setup. She comes up to the chair and she goes, "Oh, like this and that, blah blah," and you see like this hand come out and it starts like spinning and it makes like this storm, and so it's kind of hinted at like, oh, who this person might be, and then a couple minutes later, once all the trainers get to the island, it's revealed that it was Mewtwo the whole time.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, literally, as soon as that scene happens, there's no mystery. It's just Mewtwo sitting in a chair, just having like a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and he's just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, send the invitations out." It's
funny.
Yeah. So they kind of ruined that.
Same
little
voice
mystery.
actors? Same people.
A couple of them actually. I believe the voice of Brock does come back.
Okay.
As does the voice of James from Team Rocket.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
and then the second voice actress for Jessie comes back, not the original from the 90s, the one that took over like in 2004 or 5.
Oh, okay.
So she comes back.
How about Ash? Because I think the original one was Ashley something.
No.
Oh, was it? No,
you're thinking of Veronica Taylor. The original voice of Ash was Veronica Taylor.
Okay.
But no. The actress who does Ash's voice, if I can take a quick second to look it up.
Yeah, because Veronica Taylor, she even did the Pokemon movie. Yeah. She did Pokemon 2000, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I think from there she kind of just
after that is when she kind of quit. After like I think
she kind of like lingered out.
It wasn't Johto League, but I believe the 3rd season technically is when she left. But yeah, the voice actress that played Ash this time was Sarah Natacheni. I think that's how you say her last name. I don't know. But
she's cute.
Bill Rogers, the voice of Brock's back.
Oh, nice.
What was James Carter Cathcart, voice of James? He's back.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. Like,
that's some pretty good actors. I mean, not the whole crew, but that's some.
Yeah, you know what? I think the original voice of Giovanni is there. Ted Lewis.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I think he does come back, and as for the original Japanese voice cast, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure who.
No, when it comes to that part, yeah, I'm not either.
Oh, except for Pikachu, that is the same voice actress.
Oh my goodness.
I want to try to say her name, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to horribly mangle it. It's,
Are you gonna butcher it?
Ikue Otani.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think maybe I don't know.
I would think by like the Pokemons, they will already have like like a beatbox, like a little piano one. So it's like
yeah,
Pika!
but you know if you have that, like
Squirtle.
you can't get like the emotional range out of it, dude.
Well, then that's where you have a bunch of keys.
Well, I guess
Just push the keys. Squirtle. Charmander.
But anyways.
Oh, okay, fine.
But yeah, so like I said, they ruined that surprise.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like the voice, the character model for Jessie.
Yeah.
They gave her cake, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, all the character models are great.
She's thick.
Yeah, for some reason I'm like, wow, really? But in actuality, the thing that I liked about her character was if you pay attention to her shirt, there's actually a little zipper like in her shirt, and it's so detailed. Like even when she moves or there's like a gust of wind,
Yep.
the little zipper swings back and forth. Like that's how much detail they put into it.
Damn.
I believe in James' shirt too. There's a little zipper that'll swing back and forth, and like it's such a small minor detail like no one will pay attention to.
But it's nice.
But they did. They put it in.
That's pretty.
So I'm actually really happy about that. My other con, they took out my favorite joke in the whole movie.
Which is that one?
I mean, so in order to get to the island, they make a storm. They can't get across. So all the Pokemon trainers jump on their Pokemon to go across the ocean to the island. And obviously they're, Ash and Misty's Pokemon aren't strong enough to get them through the storm. So in the original, they jump in a boat that's being piloted by Team Rocket, and they're dressed as Vikings, and they have like the Norwegian accent, whatever, blah blah. And somebody says like, oh, like I didn't know there were still Vikings around. And Ash goes, oh yeah, they mostly live in Minnesota. Obviously a dumb joke about the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took it out. I was bummed.
That's weird.
And it was just it was like Team Rocket like with this like Lapras paddle boat.
Oh yeah.
With like pirate accents. It's really weird. I feel it didn't work, but whatever. And then the other downside, they cut out Meowth's speech from the end. So there's the whole scene where he has this moment where he's face to face with his clone, and there's this whole speech between him and his clone about how like, oh, it doesn't matter about your
That's right. Yeah.
doesn't matter about your birth, like it's what you do with your life and whatnot. And they cut it out and put some like weird like supposedly or artsy little thing in there, not really great.
What?
But I feel like it's such a like a disservice to take that speech out.
Yeah, because I mean that was pretty meaningful on
it was really meaningful, and I mean to really drive that point home, for those who don't know, but the original voice actor for Meowth actually ended up transitioning to a woman. And so she said the reason she got like the courage to go through with that was that little speech that she delivered in the movie. And so I mean, for something like so dorky like Pokemon to like impact someone's life like that, like I mean that's really cool. That's great.
Yeah, it is.
So for them to take that part out of the movie, I feel like that was a disservice.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, like dorky show or not, like it's enough to like get people like thinking and changing the way they live.
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than that, I would have to say, great movie, great job redoing it. They didn't keep all the original music; they took some of the original music out. But as far as like the orchestra music that was in there, that was the same.
They didn't add no like air guitar.
No, I wish that kind of would have helped a little bit, but
Do that because like I actually realized like some of the older Dragon Ball Z movies weren't they just had like the normal instrumental like music, but I feel like like the current ones that they try to remake, they add these weird ass solos to it.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like weird. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get past like hands down the best soundtrack Dragon Ball had was the Blue Falconer soundtrack back when they first were coming out in the 90s. But yeah, all in all, give it a shot. Pokemon Striking Mewtwo Evolution, check it out. So diving right in, here we go with today's topic of Nintendo. Woo-hoo! So we're gonna try to blast through this this little history lesson, and I'll put a flow chart up on the screen so you can kind of follow along. We're probably gonna leave out the handhelds again.
Yeah,
we'll brush past them because we did have Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color.
You
had Advance SP. You had
Light,
the mini Game Boy, DS, 3DS, DSi, 2DS. So we're gonna. So there you go. That's us talking about them.
Bam.
But okay. First part. Do you remember when Nintendo started?
No, sir.
Dude, if you had to guess. You had to guess.
Started, you said, right?
Yes.
Oh, man. It came out in what, 87, 85? I don't know. I'll say 70. In 1970.
No, incorrect. It was actually started in 1889.
The fuck?
Yeah, dude. And I mean, they weren't making Game Boys back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually a playing card company. It was so they created these cards to play, games like Mahjong and things like that, like traditional games.
Okay.
And so dude, from 1889 to 1972, they were actually a card and toy company. So you can actually go and find these original toys that they produced. And it was a lot of like just imagine like Hasbro or Kenner or whatever back in the day,
Yeah.
They were actually a pretty big toy company back in the day. But like I said, it wasn't until 1972 when they actually went in a joint venture with Magnavox.
Okay.
Because Magnavox had their own they used to have their own gaming platform. It was called the Odyssey. And so they needed help with one of their games where they wanted to create a gun. And so Nintendo actually developed the first light gun, which I believe it was called like the light gun, that's it was just a very simple title, and that would actually turn into the Nintendo Zapper that we all know, orange grip and barrel, gray, off-white, whatever it was. But yeah, so that was actually their first foray into video games until 1983 when they launched the Famicom in Japan.
Yep.
And then later on released in the States as the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES.
Yay!
And obviously with the NES, we got the birth of like countless video games. We have the Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, Legend of Zelda, Tetris, which landed on the NES. You have Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley. They used the light gun. You had all the first Final Fantasy games were first on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Then you had Bubble Bobble.
Yeah.
I mean, a great puzzle game. I know Lovely Assistant will get hooked on that for hours at a time, and I hate it because then I have the damn song stuck in my head.
Yep.
But so from 85 to about 1990, 91, that was kind of the lifespan, which is actually really short compared to like current lifespans of some video game systems.
Yeah.
And 1991 is when the Super Nintendo launched.
Dude, oh man, say your prayers on that SNES, bro, because that was a great system.
That was a huge jump forward from the NES to the Super NES. You went from 8-bit to 16-bit,
big jump,
which is like easily double. So that dropped August 23rd, 1991. It sold for $199.99, which I wish they still sold systems for that much. And dude, 49.1 million sold. 49.1 million units sold.
Jeez.
And I mean, if you had to take a wild guess, and it should be obvious, what the best-selling game was for the Super NES,
I would say Super Mario World.
Yep, Super Mario World sold 20.6 million units.
Yeah, damn.
And I mean, it has to do with the fact that they was packaged in with some of the platforms,
Dude, but what a great package, huh? You get Super Mario World and you get that, dude.
Yeah, you don't really see a lot of like consoles sell with like their main flagship game too often.
Yeah,
like I think that Nintendo's probably the only one that does that.
Yeah, because I would think that the other ones would just give you a mediocre game where you could go buy another game.
Yeah, you should get like a Madden or
something sports related that you just kind of get tired of it. Almost like Wii Sports. I mean, like once we get into that, like into that subject.
Once we get there,
but yeah, that was a great bundle. That was a great bundle.
I mean, dude, what was your first like experience with the Super or with the NES? Either or.
First experience. Well, I did have the NES. Luckily, like my mom got it for me. Didn't have too many games actually, and that's the one that my uncle kind of actually really introduced me to because he had one, and he had the like the Nintendo Zapper. He had the Game Genie. He had all the other games like 1944, and then and like stuff like that, and even Metroid.
Yeah,
And Kid Licorice or Kid, what was it?
Kid Icarus.
Kid Icarus. Kid Licorice. I'm just hungry right now. So then I think he introduced me to the ones like were like more like not really adultish, but like more like like the age that I guess I wasn't able to play them as.
Yeah.
So I would say for experience for more of like the family in there. The Super NES, I never actually owned it. I had other friends that owned it. But you had Super Metroid, you had Mega Man X, you had Mario Kart, you had like a Super Mario World, and then you had the one I still want, another game. If you guys have it, please DM us. The Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Super NES. If you guys have it, lingering around, using it as a coaster, hey, please contact us. But that's the one I've been trying to find. But haven't you noticed too, like when those games, like say for example for the Super NES and for the Sega platform, when they were kind of like headbutting, you have Toy Story and you have Toy Story for the Sega and then Toy Story for the Super NES. Didn't you see like a dumber version of those two when games like that came out? Like they'll have their own version, but like they'll exclusive levels, they'll add some more levels, and it was like two different games.
It was two different games. The main game I can think about that was I didn't have the Super NES and I didn't really play it till like maybe maybe like I was like maybe 8 or 9. I played at my cousin's house, but we had the Sega, and the game I loved playing on the Sega was Jungle Book.
Oh yeah.
And it was put out by Virgin back when they were still making games and all that. And I think later on, I bought my own Super when I was like in high school. I bought it off of Craigslist or something, and I picked it up. I was thinking, okay, yeah, I want this game again. And I remember putting it in, and dude, like the levels were the same, but the layouts were totally different.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Nintendo system made it simpler in a sense. Because I remember there was one level where you had to ride a balloon down the river. Mm-hmm. And you had to get around obstacles by climbing the trees and jumping from tree to tree and monkey to monkey. Whereas the Nintendo version, you can just kind of sit on Baloo the whole time. And all you had to do was just kind of throw bananas at the monkeys and knock out any little enemies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I feel like a lot of the levels were really, really different. Like, not necessarily missing levels, but missing aspects of the levels.
That, and then I feel like the difficulty was just easier.
Yeah.
Like, they just, like, dumbed it down, and then you'd be like, what the hell? Like, you would think
I guess
that.
because Nintendo had such a family-friendly image to it. Like, they were kind of like, oh, well, this is definitely geared towards kids. I mean, even, like, Mortal Kombat, they took the blood out. It was sweat.
Oh, that's
Remember,
right.
It was blue. It was sweat coming off of them.
But you had that. You had games like Street Fighter Turbo, Doom. I kid you not. I think that was like the first cartridge that I saw that was colored.
Yeah.
And I will always remember from that too as well. But dude, that Super NES, bro, like. So many good games.
Holy man,
fucking shot.
Right now that you say like the colored cartridge, what was that game? You remember it was a fighting game?
Killer Instinct.
Yes,
it was black.
Yes, I remember seeing that and I wanted it. And I could not get my hands on it.
Yeah.
But that was a great freaking game, dude.
Yeah. So and then that was too like a really good era for like 90 films, like action films.
Yeah.
Because I think Judge Dredd. I had Terminator. They had Terminator versus RoboCop.
Yeah.
They had RoboCop 3. I think I had that too. But that was a good genre for like movies that were action packed like that. Oh, and then Last Action Hero.
I was about to say you're forgetting the best one.
Last Action Hero. I think our buddy of ours had a Eat the Cat. Yeah. Also too, they really relayed video games off of TV shows for
cartoons.
Kids. Power Rangers.
Yep.
The Turtles, bro. The Turtles.
Lost in Time.
Lost in Time too. So I mean, they've that era was the perfect era for the NES. For the,
I mean
like,
that Nintendo really flourished in that era because you just had so many things coming out at once. You had all these movies, you had all these cartoons coming out at once.
Yeah.
And that was, and you know, Nintendo with the NES was just coming off of the back of the great video game crash.
Yeah.
You know, and for them to go and take the time to put this console out just coming off of that, because, you know, that was a time when everybody and their mama was putting out video games, whether they were good or bad or not. But for them to take that step to try to put the game out, like another console out, you know, and then to bust that out, you know, and then from there to the Super NES, which was, again, they doubled the bits you can put on the screen. You go from 8 to 16, and like we mentioned in the PlayStation episode, they put out the SPC 700 chip, which again is why Super Nintendo had such great sound as compared to, like, you know, an Atari or a Sega or whatever. You know, the sound quality was there too. You had really clear sounds and really, really like clear music. And I mean, Nintendo gave us some of the greatest music we can all remember. I mean,
Yeah.
Super Mario World, I mean, that's still my favorite intro music.
Yeah, I think I had a lot like for like a ringtone for my mom.
Yeah.
You know?
And hands down, my favorite theme song to pretty much any game, which would be The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, like we're gonna get into all this stuff like down the line. But yeah, so moving on, you know, so that launched in 1991. 5 years later, again, we have these short console lifespans.
Yeah.
5 years later, 1996, we get the Nintendo 64, and that is probably the reason why video games are still so big as they are.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
between PlayStation and Nintendo 64. And again, at launch, it was only $199.99, $200.
Dude, that's some great. I feel like I wish I was an adult to buy all this shit. Fucking kids.
Back in then, right?
Fucking squinkles.
And yeah, dude, 32.9 million units.
Wow.
And again, can you guess what the best-selling game was?
I would say Star Fox.
Really?
I would say Star Fox,
Dude,
actually.
you gotta think, flagship of Nintendo, Super Mario 64, 11.6 million units sold.
Yeah, dude.
And dude, you could get just lost in a game like Mario 64.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario 64 was like one of our first real looks into what a 3D world can be like.
Yeah, big time.
You know, prior to that, it was all side scrollers and these kind of fake like 2.5D.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the Sega games, like Sega 3D, I think, or Sonic 3D, I think it was. But it was kind of like, kind of there, but not really.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, dude, freaking Mario 64. And I mean, dude, we probably should just made this episode just Nintendo 64.
No,
we're about to deep dive into this, people.
Yeah. See, and then that's another console that I didn't own. And my other neighbor, Carlitos, he had a 64, and I never owned it. So he had GoldenEye, he had Banjo-Kazooie,
Yeah,
he had what was it? Yeah, a Super Mario 64. And which other ones did you remember from like playing them?
One of the other ones I really liked, and was actually the beginning of like when they had to ramp up like the space for your 64 was Donkey Kong 64.
Oh yeah,
remember? And it came with that little red pack
the
went from
expansion pack
that went from a whole 4 megabytes to a whole ass 8 megabytes. I mean,
dude, and that thing was expensive.
It was huge, dude.
It was
so if you
like
didn't buy it with packed in with Donkey Kong, you had to buy it separate on its own. It was rated like $80.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you didn't have that, you couldn't play some of the games.
I think that's the only one that I really wanted to was the Donkey Kong at the time, and then Earthworm Jim 3, because it was in a yellow cartridge too as well. And that was obviously the number 3 of the series.
Yeah.
And then for the Super Nintendo too is Earthworm Jim, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted that 64 just because for that game too as well.
Yeah, dude. And the other game, I mean, we have to talk about Conquer. The original Conquer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, that was like that was like watching South Park, dude. Like just the humor on there.
I know, right?
We weren't allowed to play that game. We mentioned it before. We weren't allowed to play Conquer.
That's crazy.
Like and you know, and they had like all these, and the cool thing was they had like all these like amazing like movie and music references, dated now because they're from the 90s, but But still, I mean, it was really, really funny stuff at the time, parody and all that.
Yeah, shit. I think I really fucking loved Cruising USA.
That was another good game.
You know, because that was an arcade that went into a actual console.
Yeah. And dude, another game I freaking cannot forget to mention is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
God, dude, that if you want to talk about first time exploration, I mean, you had the original on NES, which was like hard enough as it was because they didn't explain anything to you. They just kind of threw you in the level and hey, go find something.
The NES one was really awkward.
It was hard, dude. But yeah, Ocarina of Time, dude, that was probably some of the best writing in a Zelda game and best music, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go anywhere, especially like at a con or something, and not hear maybe like the Song of Storms.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Zelda's Lullaby. Or Epona's song. You know, those are just super iconic. It's as iconic as the song from the very first Mario World.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and that theme, I mean, you can't help but get chills, you know. And so there was that. And from Ocarina of Time we went to Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask was a good one too.
Which was really cool because it gave us this really great mechanic about having to try to beat this game in 3 days. And then again, you had the ocarina, and you can jump back and forth in time. And it took you 3 days to do like everything up for this one dungeon, get to like the little mini boss, and then you had to rewind time and go into the next dungeon. You just had to keep doing that over and over again. And if you failed, you know, the moon would crash. It was this ugly, scary looking moon, you know. But yeah, dude, I mean, amazing games, and I mean.
Yeah, so like, there's even that too, and then when they went from Super Mario Kart to the from the NES to the 64, Mario Kart 64.
Mario Kart 64.
Dude, that one too, man. Like, it has many hours of just fucking playing that thing. Good characters too. The game. I mean, I think that was also too that from, if you saw the graphics from like actually both of them, completely different.
Completely. Well, the other thing I think also really interesting about Mario Kart 64. I only played the Super Mario Kart like very, very little bit, but so I don't remember how the physics worked. But the one thing I thought was really cool was each character had its own like weight and handling.
Yeah.
So if you got like Wario or Donkey Kong or Bowser,
like
they're really heavy. They took turns really crappy. But they were actually able to cut across the grass with no problem. And if you came up against a character like Toad or Yoshi, you know, bam, knock them out of the way. You know, so that added a whole other level of gameplay to it. You know, you also had to play smart. It wasn't just a choose your character and throw a banana.
No,
you know, you had to think about how the physics worked for each character.
Yeah, and then like who was like your strengths? You know, like to saying like, man, like I really play with, you know, like good with Yoshi and say Toad. Per se, you know, because I like just like the speed, the lightweight, and just to get around everybody, you know.
Yeah, but even now, like they took that a step further with like the Switch versions. If you're a lighter character, it takes you a little bit longer to recover from like shells and stuff, as opposed to like a bigger character, which you'll probably tumble once or twice and then you keep going.
Oh, that's right.
Where you get a lighter character and goes, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ride himself and take off, you know. So yeah, like I mean, dude, Nintendo was really, really big on physics and things like that.
Yeah, man, it was that, and then from relying games from being a cartoon was Pokemon Stadium.
Dude, Pokemon in general,
it was,
my god,
dude. Pokemon was just, I'm telling you, Pokemon was a phenomenon. That was like maybe what's current that was kind of like, I guess, like Angry Birds or something, and then I mean
nothing can be compared.
But the
Star Wars maybe.
but the relationship of like something from blowing up so quickly and so like just like fucking like wildfire. I mean, like that's crazy. And Pokemon was, I believe, because I grew up with the cards, with the trading cards, with the games. I mean, you had that, and then Pokemon Snap. Come on. You just take pictures. That
was actually really fun.
It was fun.
It was really fun. As dorky, that was actually a really dorky concept because you were just in this car, and you just drove around taking pictures of Pokemon. But then there was like little tricks where like you would unlock apples,
dude. Yeah,
and you can lead a Pikachu over to a surfboard. And he'd jump on there and there'd be a surfing Pikachu. Like, what the hell? Yeah,
and then like the different angles and the different positions that where you take pictures, like this Pokemon will actually, you know, come out this way or that way, or like even like with like the surfing Pikachu. It's just crazy.
The one I remember really liking was so you know, you get the Pokeballs, right? And there's this not a Pokeball, it's called a Pester Ball. And one thing, you would go into like this lava field and you would see a Charmeleon walking around this lava pit, and you throw the pester ball. It was meant to like kind of stun a Pokemon if they were like walking by really fast. You would hit them with this pester ball, stun them, they'd pose, and you take the photo. Well, with this Charmeleon, you would hit them, it would stun them and push them into the lava thing, and he would emerge as a freaking as a Charizard.
Charizard, yeah, that's right.
And dude, they had all these little funny little things in there like that. Like another thing was you get the Pokeflute, and you can wake up a Snorlax. They played like 3 different songs, and each song would make them dance a different way. And hands down, the best one, I think, was a Magikarp. And you would like swim up this little river, and you had to knock him out of the river onto dry land, and he would flop around. And then you had to keep hitting him with these pester balls all the way till you hit like a Primate. And the Primate would just bam punch him up and over a mountain. And you wouldn't see him for like a solid 5 minutes until you got to the other side of the map. And he would come down, fall into this waterfall, and transform into a Gyarados. And he would come out of the waterfall and put this cool ass pose. He snapped a photo.
Jesus,
dude, it was crazy little things like that. And dude, there was no internet back then.
No,
we barely had enough internet to like play Flash games, dude. But
yeah, and then like even when with like a Pokemon Stadium, you know how like when you put like the rumor pack, but you had the other thing to put on your games
your game
from
pack.
the
Game Boy.
from your Game Boy it was a Game Boy Red, Yellow, and Blue.
Yeah,
and then you would just transfer your Pokemon into dude. I'm telling you, like. They killed that.
They were innovating, man.
They were
innovating.
Fucking Nintendo.
I think that'd be my only complaint about the 64 though, was everything had to go into the control. So the Rumble pack, and you would have to put like 4 AAA batteries to get it to shake. and they're like, well, if you want to save your game, you got to pull out the Rumble pack, you got to put in the little memory card, and that went into the controller.
Oh, that's right.
And that's saved.
Yeah.
And then if you want to play, Pokemon Stadium, you had to pull that out and put the Game Boy pack in and put your Game Boy game in there.
Yeah, God forbid for some games having the ability to actually save the game in the cartridge, but you would have the extension of that battery life in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if it had one, and then if it burns out, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But at least you would have that expansion memory card, and then you could just carry it around.
Yeah, that was one of the main things that Nintendo had over PlayStation. Since they were still on cartridges, they can internally save the games on the cartridges.
Yep.
So I mean, that was the cool thing. But yeah, dude, and we can't leave 64 without talking about Nintendo's probably biggest franchise to date.
Yeah.
And that would be Super Smash Brothers.
Dude, Smash. I feel like the way how you feel about Street Fighter, I never got good at Smash.
Really?
I never got good at it. I don't know. I just never got.
I love Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and there's like all these tournaments. I'm like, fuck, I wish, but I never got. Good
It gets crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Because people can learn all these little tricks of like how to react with their characters, and you just get worked over, dude. You get bodied.
Yeah.
And I mean, you try to take a step, and next thing you know, you're like 4 feet in the air, getting pushed off the edge. And the thing I freaking hate, because my nephew does it. Fuck you, Josh. But you use Kirby. And Kirby can suck up your enemies and then shoot them out, and you can take their powers.
Okay.
But you freaking get Kirby, you suck someone up, and then walk towards the edge and fall off. And right before you hit the bottom and get out, you spit him out and start floating back up as Kirby.
He does that?
I hate it, dude.
Fuck you, Josh.
But yeah. So, dude, and I remember that commercial when it first came out, when they were announcing it, and it was like 4 guys in like these huge like Mickey Mouse costumes.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was Mario, Pikachu, Yoshi, and I want to say Donkey Kong, and they're running through like this field of flowers hand in hand, and then like it starts off with like Mario tripping Donkey Kong, and then he gets mad and swings at Mario and hits Pikachu, and then Pikachu hits Yoshi, and then the next thing you know, they're all fighting, and then it transitioned into like some gameplay. But dude, really great freaking trailer. Like that kind of got the tone going of like it's all your favorite Nintendo fighters, all your favorite Nintendo characters fighting each other.
Yeah.
And obviously from there, I mean we move on to the GameCube. And dude, I mean,
the game.
So again, we're still looking at a really short console lifespans, dude, from 96 to about 2001. I mean, still that's only about maybe 6 years.
Yeah.
5 years. So yeah, November 18, 2001 is when the GameCube dropped.
Yep.
And it sold about 12.9 million units.
Yeah.
And again, retailed for $199.99. I mean, dude.
Damn, what's up with these fucking awesome
nowadays,
prices,
nowadays, and I mean back then it was like, God, really, $190, like $200?
Yeah.
Do we need to revisit PS3 and charge us $500-$600 $100, dude?
Fuck no.
But yeah, I honestly do. When I think about GameCube and Nintendo, that was kind of like their little console that could. Because I mean, at this time, this is when you're talking about, PlayStation 3 and Xbox.
Yeah.
These huge titans of video games. And you have the GameCube, which was like this tiny little thing. It was probably about the size of like a shoebox.
Yep.
Not even that. With like the weirdest looking controller.
Yeah.
And it still had the 4 ports. As opposed to like, PS3's already got wireless. Xbox has gone wireless. And you still have this wired controller with GameCube.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have these tiny little discs.
That's what threw me off,
Dude,
too.
that was weird.
Dude, Nintendo does some crazy shit.
But they made it work. I mean, we got Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah.
We got, probably a lot of people's favorite version of Smash Bros. Was a Melee.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We got Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Dude, great freaking game. Probably one of my favorite Zelda titles, which was Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Which, amazing. If you haven't played that one, you have to play it. It's a lot of water. A lot of water. But, I mean, just from the animated style. And my favorite thing about the Zelda games are always the music. That has some awesome music to it too.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun. All the exploration and all the little islands you can find and shit. Like, it's really, really fun. And I mean, dude, I feel like the only game that really suffered during the GameCube was probably Star Fox.
Yeah, I think that was a really good. A really good game that could have been great.
Could have been better. I mean, because we're coming off the heels of Star Fox 64. Fantastic game. And then you hit the GameCube version and it was like, okay, now you're on land.
Yeah.
And then now you're on foot.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it doesn't work. Like keep us in the R-Wings flying around. And even then, the controls are really clunky.
Yeah. And then I do remember a little thing about the GameCube. So I never owned one too, actually, until this point. So I think the internet was still getting there. I think it was like kind of lingering. It was like one of those like when you had to like dial in. And remember like the little
we finally got YouTube.
We finally got YouTube. Yeah, I think so. And there was a trailer for Twin Snakes. On Metal Gear Solid.
We cannot forget about
Twin Snakes. And so, I saw the trailer, thought it was amazing. They fucking remastered it. They added some more cutscenes from the original one.
Yep.
And right at the end, it says only for GameCube.
Yep.
I flipped my shit because I didn't fucking own one. And that was in middle school.
Yeah.
It was actually me and my buddy Frankie were actually watching that trailer. And we just both looked at each other like, dude, we need a fucking GameCube. And that was the only reason why I got one. That and then actually Resident Evil 4.
Yep. I was about to say.
Fucking amazing game. And actually, I think the day that I actually met you, you were playing Soul Calibur.
Yep.
On the GameCube in the garage. And then so our buddy, our other buddy, we've... when I moved down here, we were talking about Metal Gear Solid. Either I had like a shirt of like the Warriors, and then so he actually mentioned saying, oh yeah, like I fucking love that movie too, and pretty much just invited me over just like with like arms open, and pretty funny that day. And then so I think it was like maybe like that same week or probably, I met like the Trooper, and this fool was playing Soul Calibur in his garage. And then like I think the TV was so high up that he was just like looking up. I'm like, dude, like that kind of hurts. And and then so all of a sudden I started playing with you guys, and I think who beat me blindfolded? Was it you?
No, that was our friend.
Oh, that was our friend. Yeah, so he was like, dude, I could beat you blindfolded. I was like, no, you can't. And he fucking did, dude.
Yeah.
so then the GameCube for me goes a long ways. But for sure, the only reason why I actually did get one. Again, I don't know how the fuck I got one. Was for Twin Snakes. I had to. I mean, that shit. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, hands down, dude. Like Twin Snakes was like that was honestly one of my only reasons to get the GameCube. I didn't really care for all the other games, but yeah, dude. Twin Snakes, amazing game. I mean, they for the time, for the graphics, it looked phenomenal. I mean, we got true 3D.
Yeah.
It was a huge leap from like the blocky PS1 graphics to like these nice, smoother looking visuals of GameCube. And then we also got, because between the original and Twin Snakes, we got Metal Gear 2 on PS2. So they were actually able to carry over a lot of the same controls and physics from 2 over to Twin Snakes. Which, I said it kind of it ruins the first boss fight with Revolver Ocelot, because you can just kind of hide in a corner and just, pop them off. But from there, dude, I mean, like, they improved so much, added more cutscenes, better music. They redid a lot of the voices. They had to clear up a lot of voices. But I mean, after that,
I think Ninja was a little different.
Ninja, I think Revolver Ocelot was different, and I believe Liquid Snake.
Yeah.
Obviously David Hayter came over. He's not gonna let go of Snake, and I don't know why they cut him for 5. But yeah, dude, and then the other main reason to own a GameCube was obviously Resident Evil 4. I mean, dude, Resident Evil 4 reinvented what it was for a horror genre game.
Yeah, that won't do that third person view instead of the other.
Instead of the over the head from the better controls.
Oh man, that was such a good game,
dude. And like, I mean, there's like that moment when you first go into that first town and freaking Dr. Salazar with the chainsaw. Dude, like you got scared because you would just blast at this guy and it wouldn't not take him down.
Yeah. And then, like, dude, like, how many, like, times have we said, what are you buying? What are you selling?
Dude, that merchant, that is my favorite character in all of video game history.
And then, dude, like, this is so, like, iconic trench coat,
the purple mask, and a bunch of crap on his...
like, what are you buying? Great choice. And, like, whatever the fuck he said.
That's a great buy.
That's a great buy.
But yeah, dude, I mean, GameCube was just... Like I said, it was Nintendo's little system that could, because it was an underdog.
Yeah.
Like I said, you had Xbox and you had PlayStation, and they were just these huge. Xbox had just come out with Halo, and PlayStation was just still dominating at the time, dude.
Yeah.
So for Nintendo to hang on in there with this simple little box, and it wasn't the greatest graphics, but I think what saved it was all the first. Was it like first party titles? So again, Mario, Zelda. You had Donkey Kong. You had the ones with the bongos.
Yeah, the bongos. I actually had the bongos.
Dude, that was a cool game. And then probably one of my favorite games. It was called do you remember? It was called Samba Amigo.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much the same thing. We had maracas.
Yeah,
and you had to put the maracas in the control. And
he was like a, what the fuck was he? Like
it was a rhythm game.
Squirrel? No. But
it was a little monkey.
A monkey.
It was a little monkey with sombrero, and he would shake the maracas back and forth, and you had to like shake the maracas in time with the game.
A little racist, but it's good.
Hey, you know what? It was Guitar Hero before Guitar Hero.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, dude. I mean, moving on from that, I mean, we have again huge innovation with the Wii. So that dropped on November 19th, 2006, and we see our first uptick in price, which is at $249.99.
Bastards caught on, bro.
And they sold 101.6 million units. So that's actually a really big jump. I mean, you go from 20 to 11 to 12, 16 million units, and then 101 million units.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
So the Wii was really innovative because unlike other remotes, it wasn't just wireless, but it was also motion sensor.
Yeah.
So the Wii came with this little bar, and you had this thing called a Wii remote, which is about the size of a remote control, and it came with this other one called a nunchuck, which connected by a cable.
That was so awkward,
dude. It was weird, but I mean, you could shake it and move it, and depending on what you did, that's what that's where you get your character to do things.
Yeah.
And then you had. Just the innovative games that came out with this. So first, I mean, the first one I can think of that took like full advantage of the remote would have to be Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, because that one you would move and as you're attacking you can whip the remote around and Link would do like this like crazy spin attack, or you would have to hold, you know, the nunchuck in one hand, and the Wii remote in the other, and you would shoot a bow. So you would have to pull back one, and he would pull the bow back and fire off an arrow. And then the other big one I can think of was Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh, that was a good one. Actually.
Dude, that was a really fantastic game. And I mean, that one you planet hop from planet to planet as Mario. You know, each planet was like so big, you can run around the whole planet. But again, you would run and you would, like, say you jumped and spun the remote around, he would do this little spin helicopter jump, you know. And then you can even have someone jump in on a second control, and they would control like this little star that would collect the coins around him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was actually really, really innovative, and obviously the one game that came packed with every system was Wii Sports.
Yeah, and then like how we talked about earlier, like that, you know, like how Super Mario World was a great console that was like a bundle.
Yeah.
And then we got Wii Sports. I mean, it was nice.
It was
they had
fun for what it was.
Bowling. You had a tennis one. You think golf. So it was cute, but I mean.
Yeah, it was good to show off the technology, because you know, you had the bowling, the baseball, you had boxing, which I mean, if you played boxing, that really wore you out. You know, your arms were tired at the end of it.
I remember that,
yeah. But then you had like I think it was like the Mii Resort. You can go hang gliding, and running, and all that.
And I think they want, and then like they made like the Wii Fit.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. I guess
and
like more like I guess like they try to do like obviously like more like player content to actually be involved in the game more.
So people aren't just sitting there on their asses all day.
Yeah.
So I mean, it helped in a sense that I got people up and moving, you know. But yeah, dude. I mean, the Wii was really innovative, you know, because you know we didn't have remotes like that. Not yet. I mean, you had PS3 6-axis, but it didn't really work. Yeah. And you only had maybe one or two games that took advantage of it.
Yeah. And then I give it to Nintendo to making some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that they were only ones that were like really ballsy moves to make something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I played it, the first thing that popped in my mind was, oh my God, can you imagine a Star Wars game? I mean, I would have killed for a good Star Wars lightsaber game with the Wii remote. Dude. Have it control like that one Star Wars arcade game we can battle Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would have been fun, but you know, we didn't get that, unfortunately.
No.
But I mean, you know, and then not too soon after that, again, really short console lifespans. They're like about 5-6 years. November 8th, 2012, we got the Wii U.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was kind of a dip in Nintendo's track record, I guess you could say. You know, it dropped November 8th, 2012. It actually had two versions, the basic and deluxe. The basic version was $299, and the deluxe version was $349.
I remember that, yeah.
And the basic version was white, and I want to say only had maybe like, it was like maybe like 20 gigs of space, and the deluxe was black, and it had 60.
Yeah, that's right.
60 gigs.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I mean, you can tell it wasn't a very popular system, because you went from 101 million units with the Wii to only 13 million units with the Wii U.
Yeah, because I think not the fact that it was too soon. It was just like, I think the games just looked the same. I mean, there was no. Every time when a new console, there was a new revolution of either graphics or either game stories, gameplay. So I think that all just kind of just did the same. Dude,
it did run kind of laterally with that, and I mean, I feel like people weren't that impressed with the controller, because I mean, you went from the Wii that had like these motion controls, which I mean were really big, you know, really popular, to going to this huge like leapfrog looking fucking thing with a screen on it. And I mean, the screen resolution wasn't even that good. If I remember, it was like maybe 320.
It was okay. It wasn't like
it was alright, but I mean, there was no real like use to it, because the system was on the TV, and a lot of games just kind of like ended up using that second screen as just like a map or like a quick inventory thing. Like
Yeah.
there was no real reason to go and use that screen.
Yeah, I think the only two things is when you actually were just saying that zombie one, that zombie you or you zombie.
Yeah.
So that one was cool because I think you were able to see it on the screen, and then on the pad, you had your map to switch out your weapons. It reminded me just like of a DS.
Yeah.
Like you had the top screen, bottom screen, and like the bottom screen had like it's like the motion other controllers.
Yeah.
And then the only upside to what I would think that a Wii U was made, like say if your kid wanted to play the Wii U, they would see the whole thing in that pad, and then you were able to watch TV.
You can still watch TV.
Yeah, just that's small
kind
little
of,
things.
Yeah,
like
honestly, as far as that goes, that's probably like the most innovation they got out of it.
Yeah.
Using it as an actual screen to game.
Mm-hmm.
Because other than that, I mean, they didn't really have too many games that took advantage of a dual screen. And I mean, and if you remember, that actually had a camera on it.
Yeah.
Had a cheapy camera, but it still had a camera, and no games I can think of actually use that camera.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, I feel like that was actually kind of a dip in their history, and and dude, honestly, if I remember, I only bought like 3 games.
Yeah, I think I mean I had it too, and I think they were just all fucking sequels.
I bought 3 games, and one of them was a remake. Technically, so I actually bought the remake of Wind Waker from GameCube, and I mean they did a good job redoing it. Yeah, it looked really great. They fixed a lot of the problems that the GameCube version had.
That's also one of my consoles that I did have and I sold because I'm like when I was trying to downsize my collection, the Wii and the Wii U and they all left. So
there wasn't really too much staying power with the Wii U. I mean, other than the Wind Waker remake, I got Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I think that was the next one.
You're like, did I?
And I actually got Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I mean, that was right when they were making the transition to the Switch. Mm-hmm. But I mean, honestly, there wasn't really that many games that were like just great or innovative.
Yeah.
You know? Nothing took advantage of the technology. And honestly, the only reason people kept it around was because you can still at least play Wii games on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was honestly the only reason.
I feel like even with that, I mean, backwards capability was great. And, that's why when the PS3 that was lacking, everybody wanted to play the PS2 game, the PS1 games in there.
Yeah.
That fucking sucked. But yeah, I think obviously that people hold on to that, which I believe it because I'm a sucker for that too.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah. Other than that, honestly, dude, I feel like that was probably Nintendo's only black mark.
Nothing. Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, they've had a stellar history.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I mean, not long after that. So from 2012 all the way to 2017, March 3rd, they dropped the Switch.
Yep.
And again, I feel like the only reason the Wii U has like kind of like maintained a bit of like a little mark in history, it gave us the first bit of like that handheld screen. Because if you look at it, it's a very similar design to what the Switch is. Obviously, the Switch, you can remove the handles, but you still have this large screen with all the buttons off to the side.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can kind of say like, it also took inspiration from like the Game Boy and eventually the DS systems. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the Wii U was probably the main thing for the Switch. And the Switch dropped March 3rd. I'm sorry, which actually is tomorrow, so that'll be like the however many anniversary of it. So in case you're wondering, we actually shoot these the Mondays before we drop them.
Yeah.
And so so March 3rd is actually going to be like the anniversary of the Switch. Sold for $299.99, and as of December 31st of 2019, this sold 52 million units, dude.
Fuck.
So that's still a big jump when you compare it to the Wii. The Wii sold 101, and then the only other big one after that would probably be the Super NES, which sold 20 million. So for the Switch to sell 52, that's a really, really big thing for them.
Yeah, I still don't own a Switch. I'm still trying to convince myself to get a Switch. I know that Pokemon Shield and Sword came out, and I love that franchise of just having Pokemon Silver, Gold, Blue, Yellow. What was like the Hawaiian one? Yeah. That was the one that was gonna make me transition to that. So
dude, you have to get a Switch. I mean, I myself, we'll you know what, we'll have to do a whole episode on Pokemon itself because it's a huge history to it.
Pokemon.
So, but yeah, dude, I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield looks amazing, and it gives us our first like 3D Pokemon world. I mean, you go into like the wild area, and you can actually like free roam the area and see It's very much like Pokemon Go, where you can kind of see them pop up on the map. You can walk around in Sun and I'm sorry, not Sun and Moon, but Sword and Shield, and you can see them pop up in the overworld, and you can see what Pokemon you want to encounter. So it's not just a random like bush and hope you find the one you want. Like you can actually see the physical Pokemon and interact with it. But yeah, dude, I mean, you know what? Let me give it a shot right here. I have to say, if there is one game on the Switch that I love, and I really suck because I haven't finished it, it's actually called Octopath Traveler. And I mean, if you love old school RPGs, Octopath Traveler is definitely the game to pick up. It's really cool because it's all very much like, the art style is very much like the first Final Fantasy games inspired. So little 16-bit sprites, and they travel along this 3D world. So your characters are 16-bit, the backgrounds are full 3D rendered, and then your enemies are like these huge, like just beautifully animated and like monsters and things that you interact. And you have like 8 different characters you can choose. You can choose to play as, and you take 4 with you along the as you adventure. You can switch them out back and forth. And I mean, dude, it's really fun, really cool. And depending on what characters you have, like you can level them up, get different skills, and have them interact with each other to get different storylines. So Octopath Traveler, dude, definitely a game to get. But I mean, other than that, dude, I mean, I have compared to like my Wii and Wii U collection, my Switch is definitely bigger.
That's cool. I'm gonna definitely check it out. I know he's been telling me to actually grab one and stuff like that. My brother has a Switch Lite too as well. So I always seen him game. I was like, fuck, should I get one? Should I get one? And yeah, so it's been pretty much in my face fucking this whole time. That's what she said.
Yeah, so. But I know a lot of people are in that same boat. Like, should I get a Switch or should I get the Switch Lite? It just comes down. There you go. Yeah. It just comes down to, I would say honestly, the Switch, the newer version of the Switch. We have the original Switch, then there's the newer version, and that, I mean, the biggest thing is mostly like battery life and maybe some memory. But yeah, Switch Lite, you're losing the capability of taking the remotes off. You can't dock it and play, so it's strictly handheld only.
Okay. And
I believe the screen resolution is a little lower compared to the Switch. So the Switch, you're getting battery life, you're getting a better screen resolution. You can dock it, play on your TV. You can take the remotes out, and you have multiple people playing. And if people bring their other remotes, I mean, you can get up to 8 controllers going. And if you got Smash Brothers, I mean, that's 8 people on screen at once.
Give me Twin Snakes on a Switch, and I'll fucking get it right now tonight. Come on, back.
You know what, dude? If Nintendo does that,
I'll get it. I'll fucking get it.
Dude,
I'll put that shit.
I will. Man, hats off to them, because for whatever reason they got the rights to the first Metal Gear, and they've just kept it under lock and key.
Yeah, they're not letting that shit go.
But yeah, dude. So I'm gonna flash up that graphic again that I put up at the beginning of the episode to show like the history of like the history of like the whole franchise. And so again, 83 we had the Nintendo. 89 we had the Game Boy. 90 was the Super.
Okay.
96 for the 64.
Okay.
98 we got the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Which was a huge innovation, because I mean, handheld color, come on.
I still got my OG purple one. See through.
Oh, dude, the Atomic Purple. I want to do.
Did you
they
not
have okay, so I had the Atomic Purple remote for the 64.
Oh yeah, dope.
I want to go and get my Switch modded out to get the Atomic Purple casing on it.
Oh, dude.
But I'm too afraid to do it myself, because I'm going to lose all the buttons and the springs and all that. I'm just going to ruin it. But yeah, so 2001, we got the GameCube, we got the Game Boy Advance. 2004, we got the first DS, or actually the DSi, I think.
DSi or DS.
2006, we got the Wii. In 11, we got the 3DS. 12 was the Wii U, and then 17 was the Switch. So, like I said, I'll have this graphic up so you guys can follow along, well, supposedly. But, Yeah, dude. I mean, just a long storied history of Nintendo.
Dude, Nintendo. I mean, that's everybody's birthplace. That's everybody's genre. Shit, when me and this guy go to swamp meets and we try to lowball any Super Mario games, even the adults that don't even know anything about, they'll just like fucking be selling trash, and they'll see just a picture of like a Mario. They'll be like, $50. I'm like, really? No, you have no idea what the fuck you have. But he's iconic. Luigi, fucking Princess Peach, fucking Toad, Yoshi.
Mario sells.
They're just iconic characters that even kids, even little kids. Shit, my brother got into it by himself. Loving Mario, loving Luigi, loving, he knows all the fucking characters, names, everything, But yeah, dude, it's one of those things. It's like Pokemon, but
Oh man, but yeah, dude. I mean, I say let's cut it there. Hopefully, we're not running long again.
Cut that shit. Córtale, güey.
Dude. Okay, so we'll get to our closing thoughts.
All right.
Favorite console and game for it.
Okay, I would want to say GameCube, Twin Snakes.
Oh man. Okay.
I mean, if you genuinely just gave me, if you would have given me some, actually, you know what? They had a bundle, right? Of a Metal Solid for the GameCube, and in the center logo, it was a Foxhound logo.
I don't remember, dude.
You don't remember that? And it's a Japanese
one.
import.
Maybe.
Anyways, I would say that's the one that I think because of the fact that I was already like an adult-ish, I was older, and I think that was like my thrive. All the other systems were just everybody else had them.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the thing that that made me like, okay, I'll get it eventually, or you know what? Nah, because Carlitos has a 64, and my cousin had the like the Super NES. I would say the GameCube was the one I said I could claim as my console because that's what made me get it was fucking Twin Snakes.
Okay.
How about you, man?
Oh man, dude, that's the thing. Nintendo has so much.
That's what I'm
so
saying,
much.
man.
It's hard to decide, but if I have to pin it down, for sure my favorite console is the 64.
Okay.
I mean, I have so many fond memories of that. I mean, you had GoldenEye, Pokemon Stadium, Mario Party. I love Mario Party 2.
Even
Super
F-Zero.
Mario 64.
I love
F-Zero, Metroid. Dude, all these fantastic games. Legend of Zelda. Oh, man, if I had to pin it down. Like, I would say my favorite franchise from Nintendo is definitely Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But my favorite game, other than GoldenEye for 64, would actually have to be Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Oh, okay.
That was really cool because that was like our first real ability to control X-wings and A-wings and B-wings, and you can get all these different little codes to get the TIE Fighter and the Millennium Falcon and then a Boost Starfighter and then like a limousine out of nowhere. And so yeah, favorite console is 64, and game is gonna be Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Tight.
So yeah, that's it, dude. That's the end of our 3-part series, Console Wars.
Nintendo bullshit.
Dude.
Jesus.
Nintendo and PlayStation, man, long storied history. So I apologize for these long episodes. But if in closing of Console Wars, dude, favorite console?
PlayStation.
Yeah, I have to give it to Sony and PlayStation. Xbox has the power. Nintendo has the history and the characters, but Sony, man, has, it's just the machine.
That's the console that you'll see plugged into my TV right now.
Yeah,
there's nothing else.
And dude,
it's just
and you know what? Even if you don't have any video games, the PlayStation just gives you so much you can do with. You can stream, you can watch movies, Blu-rays, CDs, Spotify. Dude, so I mean that's kind of like the all-in-one. That's all you need. I know I have coworkers that they have PlayStation, they don't play. They don't have any games, and they just strictly use it for streaming and watching movies and stuff.
Yeah, and then you could rent movies too. The
PlayStation Network.
Yeah, so you don't even have to go to Redbox or anything like that if you don't want to see anything on Netflix or Funimation or fucking Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
but you have all those options to put even those apps in that console.
Yeah, so definitely PlayStation is, I think, our clear winner for Console Wars.
Woo, PlayStation for the win.
But let us know, what do you think at home? Are you an Xbox fan? PlayStation? Nintendo? Are we wrong? Are we right? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video. We want to get everywhere. We want to go Pitbull status and go worldwide. We're expecting that one.
No, it was not. International, baby.
Yeah, so dude, there it is. And anything else you want to add?
That's it, man. I mean, like, this is what the beauty about these consoles about gaming is. Like, each of those things or steps has its own unique memory. Like I could plug in people that own that console. I mean, shit. Like, even how I told you, like how I plugged in Soul Calibur for the GameCube with you. I think that's what makes other types of memories and adventures, and even how we were in high school, like 11th grade, we'll play the fuck out of Halo. I think I literally had a tube TV and I pushed it down the street on my skateboard just to just for we could have
have the hub.
Yeah, and just for we could connect it and like have like a 4-on-4. That's what I love about these consoles, because it's just like they just give you a part of your life that you always will fucking remember, and it's amazing, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah, lot of memories shared, man, in the old rooms and all that.
Yeah,
and yeah, dude, that's a powerful thing. We have, with all these, putting aside all the rivalries of the consoles, we have these amazing directors, these writers, voice actors, just all these people that come together to create this little bit of art for us to enjoy.
You know what's so funny too? Like, I was actually playing Death Stranding, and then I'm like, wow, I'm actually playing something that is on a disc, and and then I'm just controlling it with my own will and just pretty much enjoying a story.
Yeah, dude.
Like that kind of trips me out a little bit,
It's crazy, man. Because I mean, yeah, there's more action packed, and then there's less. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that goes back to what we're talking about to the PlayStation, when you had those games like Journey, Flow, and Flower. Mm-hmm. Those games weren't necessarily about like getting to the end or whatever. Yeah. It was about that trip.
Yeah, it's about enjoying
that journey you take from point A to point B, and just kind of enjoying everything in between.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, whether it's shooters, RPGs, racing games, the cool thing about video games is they're just this nice little bit of escapism for us to enjoy, to get away from the everyday world.
Definitely.
So I feel like as fans, we have to make sure we continue supporting our favorite companies, whether it be Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, and just make sure we continue to show our support so they continue making them. I mean, look, we have PlayStation 5 coming out soon. We're gonna have Xbox. The new Xbox not too far after that, and I'm sure Nintendo's got their new system coming up soon too. Mm-hmm. And it's all around the corner. It's all about to land. The console lives are ending already. So current gen is going to go out the door. Next gen's coming in, and who knows what we're going to have coming out soon, and eventually, hey, we will have those holodecks. We'll be able to be fighting our friends from around the world on like these holographic game systems.
Yeah, and then like honestly, gaming too. Like if you guys follow some like organizations, I think there was one. I think when I was watching a speed run for Resident Evil 2 remake, on Twitch. And this guy was doing it. I forgot the gamer's name, but he's like very like a loyal to Twitch. But they were doing it in an organization for like handicapped people to make like to raise up money to make like if you're mentally disabled, or if you don't have a hand or anything like that, whatever. They will make these little game pads controllers for them.
Yeah.
For they could enjoy gaming. And come on, like that's an amazing thing. Like that's what's awesome about video games.
They're making it accessible for everybody
now. Yeah, and then and then like you just kind of do like this fundraiser and stuff like that, or you give like your donations, and then they could make controllers especially for them. Like they could play with their toes and stuff like that. With their minds. But they're enjoying gaming because, like how you said, that is a detachment on something that either you're stressed out or you're worried. It's this. When you play like a certain game that you love playing, you just get lost in this world and you enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, you brought up Twitch, but yeah, dude, I mean, it's getting to the point that we now have esports. I mean, if you talk to someone back in like 90s or 2000s, you tell them, hey, you can make literally thousands of dollars playing video games.
Yeah.
In front of people, like as competitive sport, you get laughed at. But no, dude, I mean, with the advent of like the first person shooters and all these like competitive gamings, you have like teams that go and they're competing, playing Overwatch or CS:GO or all these games. dude, they're playing on a competitive level, and they're winning thousands and millions of dollars, dude.
That's
like,
crazy.
Like the biggest jackpot, dude.
Was like that probably like that kid, right? That
Yeah,
kid, that,
he
like,
was.
the
I want to
Fortnite,
say
like
he
the very
was.
first.
I want to say he was probably like between 18 and 20.
Shit, I think he was probably younger than that, but still, dude, like shit. I'm gonna tell my kids, I'm like, you keep playing these video games, man. I got money invested in your ass.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, I'm trying to think of this kid's name.
Yeah, but for sure, I think it was that platform, Fortnite, and yeah, dude, he won some ridiculously fucking cash.
Yeah, it was $100 million.
God damn.
Dude, can you? What would you do with $100 million?
I don't fucking know, man. I can't even know what the hell I'm gonna do tomorrow. You know, like, jeez.
I'd pay off my credit card bills.
That's
It's simple.
I guess yeah, same. Some
have to be an adult somehow.
Yeah, some adult stuff. You know, get like a gold grill.
Oh shit.
You know, yeah, fix some teeth.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So again, thank you for joining us on this semi-epic 3-part journey.
Thank you.
If you want to follow us, as always, I'm on Instagram at the PokéTrooper, ThePoke_TROOPER. Dr. Snake will be at
Los_sneakers about my sneaker collection with my other friends. A collection too as well. As of right now, I'm wearing slip-on Vans with no socks. Ooh, baby, sweaty. Ooh, extra sweaty. But yeah, if you love shoes and maybe some cankle, holla at your boy.
Oh God, okay. We'll stop there. Again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is the Empire of Nerd Podcast. I'm PokéTrooper.
Dr. Snake.
Smell you later, nerds.